When the family living on a small farm noticed the deep bond between their son and a foal, they were thrilled and captivated by their daily interactions. However, during a crisis, the mother realized that she had made a crucial mistake. The family of 4 enjoyed a peaceful life on their farm in Missouri, where the parents had been involved in horse racing for many years. They decided to expand their family and bring 2 beautiful, healthy children into the world, first a boy and then a little girl. Mother and father were busy individuals who usually woke up before sunrise and spent most of their time working outside. The farm was a magical place to grow up, and the children were raised to be confident and comfortable around animals. In particular, their son showed a strong affinity for them. Mom and Dad knew they wanted to nurture their son's talents, so they taught him how to care for horses from a young age. The boy quickly became one of the most popular figures on the farm. The horses warmed up to him instantly, and he was able to build a wonderful relationship with each animal individually. In just a few years, he became the horse whisperer of the farm. When the family woke up in the mornings, Mom and Dad took care of the entire farm, while the boy went straight to the stables and spent time with the animals. The parents were confident that they were providing their children with a wonderful childhood. They were ahead of their classmates, displaying confidence and compassion beyond their years. Perhaps it was this that led the mother to overestimate her son in a way that would prove to be dangerous. The boy's birthday was approaching, and since he was old enough to ask for birthday gifts, he had always wished for his own horse. On his 10th birthday, Mom and Dad decided that he could take responsibility for a young foal. He would give it a name and be able to train it as long as he understood that the horse was being raised with the intention of keeping it. The boy had already seen several animals come and go on the farm, and he could handle this reality, so the boy got his own horse and raised it. The foal was very shy and uncertain, and he had to invest a lot of time and effort to make it feel comfortable on the farm. Additionally, it exhibited strange behavior that was initially assumed to be due to its fear. The boy realized how much work caring for another living being would be, so he sought advice from his parents and told them how he had tried to approach the young animal, but it would freak out every time. His parents advised him to slow down instead of pushing further into the foal's comfort zone. The father suggested that the boy should stay right at the edge of the stable to avoid upsetting the animal. So, the boy began hanging out with the foal in the barn without pushing to approach or touch it. Father's advice was excellent because it was based on his years of experience with animals. As the days and weeks passed, the boy spent more and more time in the barn near the foal. He did his homework there every afternoon and evening. After dinner, he would return to the barn to watch TV or read in the company of his horse. And finally, after about a month in his new routine, the foal did something that left him speechless. It came out of its stall and approached the boy directly for the first time. It allowed him to stroke it. It was a special occasion, and the boy tried to keep his excitement in check so as not to scare the foal. They stayed together for a long time while the young horse rested and allowed the boy to stroke it repeatedly. Night fell, and the foal's eyelids began to droop. As it slowly blinked, it grew sleepier by the second. Coincidentally, the next morning the boy also woke up in the barn. He must have fallen asleep there the night before. Mom and Dad didn't want him sleeping in the barn, but at the end of the day, the boy brought out his blankets and pillows and set up camp next to his foal. So every night, the boy spent time in the barn with the horse until it became his second bedroom. Night after night, he built a trusting and caring relationship with the foal. Things continued to progress so positively that, although they found it strange, Mom and Dad allowed their son to sleep with the horse. He proved to be caring and responsible. So, a whole year went by, and the boy continued to sleep in the barn with his horse. After the 3rd year, things became complicated, and the father realized that something was wrong with the animal. They weren't sure if some of its quirks were a result of natural disposition or potential health complications, but now they needed the help of an animal clinic. One evening, Mom and Dad explained to the boy that they would have to send the foal to an animal clinic for treatment or possibly undergo surgery. He was sad and worried when they told him, and he ran to his room and slammed the door. His parents didn't see him for the rest of the night, but he was 13 and concerned about his pet, so they decided to give him some space. They loaded the foal into a trailer and arranged for a driver to pick it up at dawn to take it to the nearest clinic. The mother went to the boy's room to check on him and was shocked to find that he wasn't in his bed. She rushed to the barn to see if he was sleeping there as usual, even though the horse was gone for treatment. But there was no sign of the boy here either. Mom and Dad became desperate and soon called the police, fearing he had run away and gotten into trouble. The police searched for the missing boy, but it only took a few hours before they left Mom and Dad speechless when they received a call from the sheriff, realizing they had made a big mistake. Apparently, the boy had been unable to fall asleep and had spent the entire night in the trailer with the foal. They hadn't thought to check the trailer before taking it to the clinic with the driver. He was found safe and sound with his horse at the veterinary practice when he was questioned by the police. He even joked that he was there to oversee the treatment of his beloved horse. Fortunately, the veterinarian announced that he would be able to address all the health issues in no time, so both the boy and the foal could return home. Mom and Dad were relieved to know that both would be okay, but they already knew that their son would continue sleeping on the barn floor. When he came home this time, he found a nice little bed in the corner of the barn and a note from his parents promising never to sell his best friend. All's well that ends well.